You're going to love this. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, this is about the American dream. This is how an entrepreneur could or should do their tax returns. And I'm going to take on Washington Post. I want to talk about New York Times, Democracy Now! We're going to take on all these writers that really don't have experience looking at a tax return and are pontificating on things that I don't think are even true. We're going to have a good time doing this. I want to take your questions, your comments. Love me, hate me, just don't attack me personally. I'm not attacking you personally or any Democrat or Republican. Let's talk about the American dream and making money. Hey, you want to pay the IRS more? Feel free, but I'm here to help you save taxes. I'm a CPA, attorney, best-selling author, podcaster, radio show host, blogger, and I talk about Main Street America, and I want to help you save taxes. And if you come to me and say, hey, Mark, I just bought a rental property, I want to save taxes. Great, let's roll open Trump's return and see how he did it. I was so pissed when I saw New York Times say Trump's tax returns undermine his image as a successful entrepreneur. Are you kidding me? His freaking tax returns were a blueprint of how an entrepreneur, a real estate investor should do their tax returns. Do you think Trump was really designing all of his tax returns just to save taxes? No, he's trying to make money. He's worth $3.2 billion. Now, I don't care what your tax return says. With my clients, I'm trying to show you the least amount of income. I want you to have cash flow and no taxable income. Is that criminal? No, it's not criminal. Holy hell. Mad. Thanks everybody for watching. Man, I'm going to start coughing and lose it here. I'm so upset. All right. Well, I went through the 2015 tax return in detail. Now, let me tell you why I like 2015. In 2016, he was elected. At the end of 2016, he could not check the box that he was a real estate professional anymore. At that point, he was divesting himself of control of all of his entities. There is a constitutional clause that says a president or any political officer cannot benefit from their position. So if you remember back in 2016 when he was elected, everybody was like, whoa, he can't be running his international businesses and all these businesses. He's going to make money as president. He said, I'm done. He left his business to be ran by his sons, his trusted advisors, trustees, and stepped away. So to look at his tax returns in 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, those 5 years, who cares? He wasn't even running his businesses then. Everything that he had set up was on autopilot and being ran. We're going to judge him and blame him for how his family was running his businesses when he was our employee working for us, for America, whether you loved or hated him. Seriously. So 2015, though, is sweet. That was the year before he ran for office. So in 2015, we see a real picture of what he was doing with his tax returns. In 2015, I got the numbers here. Let's run through. I'll just hit the highlights, and then I'm going to hit these exposés, these writers, and see what they're saying. But, okay, tax return 2015, 538 pages. Not too bad. Trust me, I got clients that have long tax returns. He had, for you small business owners, get side gigs, side hustles, here's what he had going on. 27 single-member LLCs that filed as Schedule Cs, as Schedule C as in Charlie. All right, not bad. I personally, if I was his accountant, I would have ripped him off and put him into a multi-member LLC with his wife, or put him in an S corp. But that's a different topic. But anyway, you had 27 Schedule Cs, a little more than I would have liked. Then he had, now buckle up, 462 K1s. I went through every page of this tax return. I couldn't comment on it a day after they released him. Seriously? People are like, New York Post, oh my gosh, let's see what his returns expect. You had time as a non-CPA tax lawyer to review his tax returns and then write an article in the New York Times or Washington Post after 24 hours of seeing his returns released? Give me a break. I needed a week to go through this. Whatever. Sorry, I'm just so pissed. All right. 462 K1s, a third of those were S corporations. The other 2/3 were LLCs. 41 of those were rental property LLCs. Now, here's what's interesting about Donald Trump's tax return and why he didn't pay any tax in 2015. Because he's a real estate professional. He does real estate. Have you watched The Apprentice? Have you ever followed any of his life? He's a real estate developer. Yeah, he had to claim bankruptcy, or a couple of his entities did back in the 90s and 2000s with casinos and some hotels. Tough business. That's fine. I know a lot of successful people that have had trouble financially. Should we start naming other presidents in our history of America that weren't geniuses financially at times in their lives, but did a lot of good for the country. Hold it, totally different argument. But here's the point. We are able to see this window of his tax return when he was operating as a real estate professional. This is what we teach our realtors and brokers and contractors. If you come to me and say, hey, Mark, I'm buying some real estate. How do I depreciate it so I can save taxes? Is that criminal? No, that's the tax strategy. Donald Trump's doing the same thing. He's just adding more zeros to it. Why get pissed at him for doing what you would do if you came to my office? I've got 14 tax lawyers helping clients around the country buy rental property. I've got clients who are in the conference room right here with apartment buildings. I said, hey, I'm going to probably be yelling here in my office in a minute, so be patient. And they're like, dude, we want to learn the same strategies. We own apartment buildings. How do we do it? How do we save taxes? That's the plan. This is about the American dream. This is about building wealth. It's not about screwing over America. If you want to screw over the IRS, pay your fair share. I'm fine with that. I pay taxes every year, but I don't want to pay more than I have to. It's okay. So, I'm just so mad. Okay, now let me just hit a couple exposés here, and I'll take some questions here and comments. Can I hit one expose or two? Okay, I'm going to hit Fox. Oh, people, by the way, if you see some comments on my Facebook feed that are, Bitcoin's doing great and blah, 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 they're bots, they're scams, do not touch them, do not comment on them. Anybody that's promoting any sort of Bitcoin crypto crap on my feed during a live, ignore it. Just stay with me. I'm not commenting on anything. I'm talking. No typing on my feed from me. All right. I'm just going to go with first, again, the New York Times. Jim Tanker-Askerly, Suzanne Craig, and Russ Buthner, all wonderful writers, political writers, and you can decide where they're leaning. But to say Trump's tax returns undermine his image as a successful entrepreneur, can I just define a successful entrepreneur? Because Jim, Suzanne, Ross, I actually consult entrepreneurs every day and try to help them. News alert. Save taxes. And paying no taxes and building wealth is what successful entrepreneurs do. If I've got a client worth $3 billion and pays zero tax, sign me up. Are you kidding me? That's an unsuccessful entrepreneur? I want to increase your cash flow, build your wealth, and pay zero tax. That's the goal. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say I've got a client that's a realtor making 75 grand a year, 100 grand a year. And they buy a rental property or two. Maybe they partner with friends or family, and they buy those rental properties $300-400 grand a piece. They rent them out. Because they signed on the mortgages, they get to claim depreciation on that property and use that depreciation to offset their income as a realtor. So if they have cash flow on the rentals, they have tax write-offs from the depreciation, and they have a 1099 side gig S corporation for their realtor work, the depreciation wipes out their income. They pay zero tax. I can't count the thousands of clients I've helped over the last 20 years with that strategy. And Donald Trump does it, and it's criminal? Jim, Suzanne, Russ, I know you probably don't like Donald Trump and you don't like that he didn't pay any taxes and that his businesses have losses, but hotels will run at a loss even though the hotel property is going up in value. That's okay. An entrepreneur is not judged by their tax return. They're judged by their balance sheet. All right, let's go into some of these questions. I'm going to jump over here, and I'm just going to see if someone wants to call me out. I'll read it. If someone's hating on me, that's cool. Smart businessman. Hi, Mark. Thank you. Believe in you, Mark. Thank you. I don't believe for a second that he wasn't involved with running his businesses while in office. Okay, Jake. Fair enough. They may have called him and said, "What do you think? Should we buy or sell something?" Maybe, and that's okay. Hey, if I was worth $3.2 billion and I had businesses in the wings and I was running for president and I was president and someone called and said, "Hey, Mark, the Trump Plaza down in Vegas isn't doing too well. We wanted your advice. Should we do this or that?" I don't know. He's not supposed to benefit from his businesses while he's in office, but he tried to step away. And maybe he did or maybe he didn't. Jake, thanks for that comment. Stephanie says, I have my degree in architecture, my own residential architecture design firm, S Corp via KKOS. Thank you. Do I qualify as a real estate professional according to the IRS? I'm full-time. So she says, I have my degree in architecture and own my own residential architectural design firm. Stephanie, unless you're in construction or brokering the loans or building the actual real estate as an architect, you're not going to probably qualify as a real estate professional. Are you building, developing, selling real estate? I would like to look at your rental portfolio, see if you own enough rentals, if you're fixing and flipping and rehabbing. Joanna with Magnolia and Chip down in Waco doing fixer-upper because she's designed. She's all designed. Love her. But she's designing and rehabbing properties that they're selling. And so it's her designing that's not qualifying her as a real estate professional. It's the fixing and flipping in Waco. Philip says, what are some beginning of the year tax planning steps you'd recommend for someone who has an S Corp to take? Oh, Philip, we'll be talking more. You got to look at my real estate and some of my other tax strategy webinars and podcasts. Get on my site. Philip, we're going to stick on Trump's tax returns today. Unbelievable. I know tax returns are private. I'm an accountant and tax advisor and would bet 90% of my clients would do anything to keep their tax return private. This whole situation should wake up everyone to where the country is at and the terrible direction we're headed. The tax code is so complex and every business owner takes these deductions. That's from Unbelievable. And I totally agree. The tax deductions Trumps are taking are the ones I take and every one of my clients take. It's what I teach in my books. The Tax and Legal Playbook, one of the best-selling books on Amazon on tax strategies. Donald Trump's living 3 of my chapters, and he's getting lambasted for doing it. So it's unbelievable. And to think that our tax returns aren't private is scary. If you're retired, I still have rental property. Can you claim? I lost that one. Let me get it. This is back over to Joanna. If you are retired and still have rental property, can you claim the highest realtor status? I wouldn't say highest realtor status. What you would say, Joanne, is real estate professional. So if you're retired and all you do is manage your rental property, that's half the test. That means your primary occupation is in real estate. Now you just need to hit the 750-hour requirement and material participation in your rentals. I've got more in my book on that and podcasts galore. Check out my feed on that on YouTube. Dad and Eli, what grade would you give the CPA that did his return? Did they do a good job? That's a tough question. I thought the tax returns looked very normal. What I look for with a good tax return is, are we taking advantage of all of the personal conversion expenses, travel, dining, home office, equipment, supplies, aviation? I mean, Donald Trump's writing off his own jet to travel around for business. Wonderful strategy. I don't have a jet, but I'd love that strategy. He's buying real estate. He's deducting depreciation. He claimed real estate professional. I think his CPA did a fine job. And when you're talking about 538-page personal return and 430 K1s, you're talking about an extremely complex return. It's not he's doing that to hide income or hide taxes. He's doing it for asset protection and to build wealth. Don't villainize him for that. I do the same thing for you. I do it for me. But it's Donald Trump. It must be evil. Holy hell. All right. Rashina says they don't want others to know how to save on taxes. Maybe. It's terrible. Fights with Shane. You need to be on Fox, bro. Hook me up, man, if you know someone at Fox. You got to pay to play on a lot of those shows. Dan Barrett, you're doing great, Mark. This is just politics, not how someone should avoid taxes for what government thinks is to benefit society. Thanks, Dan. Ethan, bet those K1s didn't come in until September 15th anyway. Ethan, you know, baby. Good call. Vic says, housing the Social Security in his hotels. He benefited his business via the presidency, didn't he? Okay, housing the SS in his hotels. He benefited his business via the presidency, didn't he? I don't know. If he stayed in his hotels when the government paid for his travel, I guess. You got to pay some hotel when he travels. As self-employed individual, can I have a share savings account for retirement and write off the contributions? If so, what's the max I can put in that share savings for retirement? Jose, we've just recorded a podcast on that today. Get over to my Directed IRA podcast. Directed IRA podcast. We've got probably 75 podcasts now on building your retirement and how much you can put in. You're going to love it. Get over there. I want to take a quick moment too and shout out. I don't know. Can you text Deb and ask her the name of that comment from last week on the 4 autos? I want to give him a shout out. So ask Deb the name of the listener with 4 autos. Greg says, are all of your CPAs and tax attorneys trained to do the same quality job you do? Thanks, Greg. Okay, everybody, quick side note. I've got a law firm. This is not an infomercial. I'm out here trying to just help people live the American dream. And I mean it. I write books, I try to produce so much content for free. I do have a tax certification program called Main Street Tax Pro Certification. I launched it this year. Within the next 2 months, I will have a network of certified tax advisors from around the country that are amazing, that are just getting on the same page with my strategies. I'm learning from them. They're learning from me. Stay on my website, markjkohler.com. You're going to sign up for alerts when the tax advisors start coming off the shelf, because I've got over 100 engaged right now getting trained by me and me training with them to be the best we can be. So the Mark J. Kohler Main Street Tax Pro Certification Network will be available within 60 days with certified advisors around the country. File an extension if you need to. There's no rush. Now, that's to get your tax return done and get some advising. Now, though, my tax lawyers right here are available around the country to do a phone call. I've got them all around my office right now on phone calls and in person with people, helping in 4 different offices on the West Coast, but we help clients on the East Coast strategize. Give us a call. The content information is down below. James, can you throw that in our description? Jeb Wood, I want to give you out a shout out. A week ago, he was saying, you can't have more than 4 autos in your deduction strategy and this and that. And I told him I hadn't heard of that. I didn't mean to be rude to him when I hadn't heard about that. He sent us the link over. I really appreciated it. I'm further researching that. I think maybe it's a Schedule C thing. Maybe it's with S Corps. I want to vet that further on the limitation on auto deduction strategies when you have more than 4 autos. I think there's a fleet exception or a few other things. But Jeb, I want to give you a shout out. I appreciate you being a follower, and I never mean to call you out and demean you. It's just a strategy I hadn't heard, and I want to continue learning from my followers as well. Okay, before I go back to the comments, I want to bring up, let's do it. Democracy Now. Oh, no. I think I yeah, no, this is good. This is on it. Democracy Now. This is with investigative reporter David K. Johnston, Pulitzer Prize winning investigative journalist. Okay, that's cool. So you think he's been a supporter of Trump and of our president, and he's doing an investigative article on his tax returns. So he's just coming in clean with no bias, right? Oh, no. In his article, he has said Donald Trump has been a criminal his entire life. Oh, so this is definitely an article that's going to be unbiased on an analysis on his tax returns, right? And David, you're probably an incredible investigative reporter, far better than I could ever do in my life, and I admit that. But maybe when it comes to analyzing an entrepreneur's tax returns, you want to let a tax lawyer, CPA, analyze it and go, is it criminal to try to save taxes? Is it criminal to try to write off my travel when I go somewhere for business and maybe see a personal friend at the same time? Is that criminal? No, it's not. It's called good business tax strategies. And the same one Donald Trump's doing, millions of Americans are doing. It's just Donald Trump, and you hate him. You've said you think he's a criminal. You've done it. And people, be careful reading articles when people are biased against Trump to begin with. Washington Post. Oh, okay. Oh, we already did Washington Post. Stephen Rosenthal.
Mark for president.
Oh, there we go. And at Washington Post, they had 3 points. This was Stephen Rosenthal. That number one, we're going to look at Donald Trump's tax returns, and our number one takeaway is he paid little or no taxes because he has losses, some of them manufactured. Yeah, I hope so. I hope I would manufacture some depreciation and some write-offs. That's what entrepreneurs do, Stephen. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. If you come to me, Stephen, and buy some rental properties, you're going to want to bend over and pay all those taxes? Or do you want the same tax strategies that millions of real estate investors and Donald Trump are using? Your choice. Number 2, the IRS failed in auditing him. The IRS was charged with auditing all presidents' tax returns. They haven't done any of that for years. But now that it's Donald Trump, the IRS better start auditing them. And so apparently they're getting into auditing them. Fine. If that's what the law says to do, let's do it. But let's go back and audit all the other presidents. How about that? And then Trump's tax returns are Exhibit A for why the IRS needs $80 billion to go audit more people. It's so sad how the country is just getting more divided into those that want to work for the man and let the government and large institutions run their lives, and those that want to be entrepreneurs and control their future and their destiny. And the part that just frustrates me is those folks on the left that are attacking Donald Trump. I bet you millions of those have side hustles and side gigs. And when it's time to do their tax return, they're asking their CPA, what are the best tax strategies? But then publicly, oh, that's bad. It's bullcrap. It's too bad. Okay, let's get back to comments. Thanks, everybody, for letting me rant. All right, let's see here. Okay, we'll just go here for a little bit longer. Jose, as self-employed, no, we're not doing that. Greg, Joanna, Ethan, that conservation easement is iffy at best. Yeah, be careful with conservation easements. I don't know why they're getting so much traction. I helped someone do one 20 years ago. The laws haven't changed on that, and someone's selling them like crazy, and I don't know why. Pete, I am on fire, damn it, and I'm pissed. DL says, does it make sense to invest in impoverished areas to start a real estate career? 40 to 50K houses that rent for $300 to $500 a month. DL, I love it. I own a low-income housing home that I bought for $45,000 in South Chicago. It cash flows $200 to $300 a month. I've had it for about 8 years. It's been a great little investment. There's also called the Opportunity Zone Funds. Investing in these opportunity zones where you get special tax incentives to buy a property, refurbish it, and hold on to it for 10 years or longer. I think it's great. I have some clients that make millions in low-income housing. I have clients that make millions in apartment buildings, millions in commercial, storage units, veteran housing, college housing, raw land. People, invest in what you know. What an amazing country we live in, that you can invest in what you love and what you know. But then we're going to tear them apart if they don't pay taxes in the process, when they're out taking risk and signing on debt okay. Nathan says, been following you for 6 months or so. Love your book. Mr. Ismail Ali Amir, praying always my God first, that God, are you be okay? You put in my prayers. Feels like real estate industry gets the best privileges. How can I learn about the real estate lobby? Because it seems it could be the strongest in the country. Pause 3315. That's a great comment. The real estate lobby in America is strong. The National Association of Realtors, the Apartment Association, Land Developer Association, there are a lot of real estate associations that really have a very, very strong voice in Congress. And you know why they get heard? Is because 80% of wealthy people own real estate. Joe Biden owns rental property, and that's okay. So when the real estate lobby says, hey, you might lose a write-off, and they go, I own real estate, what are you talking about? That's why they get heard. The Dental Association doesn't have as big a lobby in Congress because not everybody's dentists. But the real estate lobby has a big listening ear because 80% of the people in Congress own rental property or own a home. So if you want to learn more about rental real estate, email me, mark@markjkohler.com. We'll get you some resources. Would love to have you consider that as a good investment strategy. Nathan says the same talking heads criticizing the former president likely use the same tax strategies as he does. How ironic and deceptive. Agree with that, Nathan. Fights with Shane. I got 150 HELOC I want to use to buy a rental. Any advice? Okay, this is, Fights with Shane says $150,000 HELOC, wants to buy a rental property. Any advice? Be careful using debt as a down payment to go into debt to buy a rental. I think going into debt to buy a rental is okay if it's productive debt, it's well thought out, it's very careful and calculated. But taking HELOC money out of your primary residence, it's okay based on your overall equation and circumstances. I want to make sure you're out of credit card debt. Are you funding your IRA? Are you funding your 401k? What's your overall debt matrix? How much is this property going to cash flow? What type of property are you buying? Is it going to be a high-risk venture? So be careful. Now, Dave Ramsey would say, no debt at all. You save up your money, then you can buy a rental. Okay, that's a little extreme. I think there is reductive debt, bad debt, consumer loans, credit card debt, excessive student debt, auto loans. Let's get rid of those. Then stripping equity out of your home to buy rentals, maybe. Be careful. Stefani says, can a self-directed real estate portfolio qualify the individual for a real estate professional with the IRS? No. If your IRA owns real estate, that's your IRA owning real estate. For you to qualify as a real estate professional, it's got to be your business, your services, your time, your investment. Your IRA's investment is totally separate. Okay, let's see. Dimitri says, if you're not in the club and the club doesn't like you, then anything you do is illegal. We live in a practical reality nearly indistinguishable from living in a country under an enemy occupation. I watch all your videos. For some reason, my work blocked this one. Why? Because it says Trump. Sorry, foodie. Well, Philip says, what are some tax deductions you would have taken that his accountants didn't? Philip, what's interesting is we don't know. And see, they're with 462 S Corps and LLCs, a lot of Donald Trump's dining, travel, electronics, laptops, computers, supplies, they're going to be expensed in those entities that then feed into his personal return. We don't have those thousands of pages and where he would have expensed those items. I'm sure he did. But there's the big strategy, again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, is that Donald Trump was using pass-through entities, S corporations, real estate, and the real estate professional election. Right there, those are the big ones that then we get into our smaller strategies. Funding retirement accounts, health savings accounts, computers, electronics, equipment, all those goodies. So I think we're okay. Hey, James, are there any questions on Facebook you want me to hit, or should we?
We're doing very well.
We're doing okay?
Catching a lot of the same ones coming in.
All right. I'm just going to hit another question or two here, and then we'll wrap it up today. Matthew Birkland says, I self-manage a portfolio of over 20 rentals and still have a high-paying W-2 day job that makes about the same as the rental portfolio. Is there any chance I could be a real estate professional? Sorry, Matthew, you probably would not qualify. The IRS says if you've got a full-time day job, even if you spend as much time, meaning another 40 hours a week, and make the same amount of money you do in real estate, they're going to probably shoot you down. I've fought about this across the table with IRS agents in this IRS service center at two different locations in America. And the IRS isn't evil. It's a rule, and Americans have to comply with it. And the problem is it's a two-part qualification to be a real estate professional. Your day job is real estate. You're developing real estate, which Donald Trump did. And you're doing 750 hours a year. So when you have a day job of 40 hours a week, and then say I'm a real estate professional, it's not just about dollars, it's about time as well. So I think you're going to have a hard time there, Matthew. A couple more. Question, when buying a truck for my lawn business, can I buy an old truck, 1972, fix it up, restore it instead of buying a new one? Let me give you a technical answer. Hell yeah, Jay. I love it. So if any of you want to buy a new truck, used truck, fix it up, use it 100% in your business, you write off the whole damn thing. Good man. Been following your Mike says, been following your channel for the last couple of years. Love it. Looking to start my first LLC. Having a hard time deciding how to set it up. Does your firm do payment installments for business setup? Mike, we might be able to work something out. Give us a call. Talk to my Shelby on my sales team at kkslawyers.com. Here's the big thing, people. Starting a business and starting an LLC are two different things. A lot of times, Mike, I'm going to say, start the business. Let's get a DBA. Let's make a little money. Let your first dollars in the door pay for the LLC that you need and do it right. You're going to get a full consultation with a lawyer setting up the LLC in the right state at the right time in the right place. You can start your business before you start the LLC and let your first $1,000 in the door pay for the legal work to do it right. It'll save you 10 times, 100 times down the road. But give Shelby a call at the office.
There's also a related question on Facebook.
Okay, say it loud, James.
Related question on Facebook from Santosh Temasina. I like your CPA program, but monthly fees look unaffordable to me. Is there any way around that?
You bet. What's her first name again? Santosh says, so in my CPA training network, it's $300 a month. You can go to my website and check it out, and I'll just answer that for everybody here. $300 a month. Let me tell you what you get. A weekly training call, collaborative with me and all the other certified advisors. If too many people get on the call, I schedule another one the same week. That's a training call every week on tax strategies that are going to help you bill more and make more. If I don't increase your hourly rate by $100 or $200 or more by the training you're going to get, then I failed. You doing one consultation based on some strategies I'm training should pay for your certification for the whole month. Number two, there's an open forum where you can collaborate with all the other certified advisors in the program to throw out questions when you're getting stumped. Number three, you get access to the library of all my videos that I've been shooting on 80 different topics, 12 different modules. Fourth, there's a discussion board under each strategy so that you can get updated technical information on auto, paying kids, Oz deductions, 1031 exchanges, S corporations, C corporations, limited partnerships, revocable living trusts, charitable remainder trusts, 80 different topics. And then finally, you get to be on my network, on my website, where people looking for a CPA can find you. And that's all included for $300 a month. If you think that's not affordable and your net's not going to pay you 10 times that every given month, then I can't do it for free. I have people saying I'm charging too little. So, but I hope you join. And if you can cancel anytime. Get the certification, sign up for the monthly. You can cancel anytime if you don't like it, but I hope to wow you.
Is there some sort of payment plan?
There is a payment plan on the initial certification. And there's a link on the site to talk to Luke. He's a nephew of mine working in our organization, Luke Kohler. They'll give you his direct line, or you can email him and he will explain the payment plan. I want you guys here. I'm trying to make it as affordable as I can. My competitors are 2 to 3 times my cost, and some of them won't even take enrolled agents or accountants. It's got to be all CPAs. Give me a break. We're all out there trying to be good tax advisors. Does the CPA program count as CPE for CPAs? Yes, it does, Colleen. And I teach a 2-day class, it's a 3-day workshop twice a year. I will sign certificates for participation. I'm getting it certified with different national organizations, but you know how it goes. If you've got the outline and it was taught by a CPA or attorney, you take it to any state organization, they're going to certify it. And my classes are oftentimes certified already with different state CPA boards and bar groups. And now I can't verify. You can let us know what state you're in, and I will provide the information if you want to get it pre-certified. But I'm providing almost 120 hours of training, and you're going to get all the CE you need, Colleen. Yes, Jay says, can a non-CPA join my training? Damn straight you can. I want enrolled agents. I want accountants. I want bookkeepers. I want business owners that are like, I got to freaking take control of my own tax strategies. I want to get certified as a good old tax certified advisor. And you can help your family and friends and share the wealth. Our law firm's here as a backstop if you need tax lawyers to help jump on a call with you. We've got directed IRA to help people form IRAs and IRAs and 401ks, and Main Street Business doing the company maintenance and registered agent and privacy strategies, mail forwarding. We're here for you. So we're not exclusive. All right. I want to answer a couple other big questions. Oh my gosh, this is cool. I'm going to go over here to DL. A lot of lawyers sell anonymous entities. Are they really legit? If you want to privately own a company, or if you want to own a company privately, can you do this? How can I legally do that to buy houses? Did Trump do that? Where do I set it up? Yes, Trump was very private, and a lot of real estate, you may not know Trump owns it if you were to do a public search. So how do you do that? Well, I've got a book. I have a whole section on asset protection and privacy. We provide a service where there's about 6 states where we can do, in fact, I'll mention this now. My 2023 calendar is at the printer. It will be coming, being mailed out within 2 weeks. And in here, I highlight all the states that provide better privacy and asset protection. Any of the tax lawyers, DL, you want to meet with at my office, they're going to help you hide your address, hide the name of the LLC, And it will take a couple layers sometimes. It depends on what state you're in. Some states, I can hide your name from public record immediately. Sometimes we have to set up a holding company to hold your LLC and add a couple layers. So sometimes privacy can cost. We're not like 5 or 10 or 20 grand, nothing like that. You might spend a couple thousand getting 2 LLCs done in a couple states to do it right. But get a consultation deal with any of my senior tax lawyers at my office, $300 to $400. They'll point you in the right direction. You can go from there. All right. Vic says, how can we get you to a 2 or 1 day real estate only seminar in Chicago? I'm a member in a large real estate investor group, Airbnb, rentals, flips, wholesale. We could all benefit from you. Vic, I would love to speak. I just got booked before this live with a company that's having me come out for a day and do a training. I've got a speaking fee. I'm definitely not as expensive as some out there that shock me. But if you call my office, talk to my personal assistant, executive assistant, Deborah Stanton. Call the office, KKOS Lawyers, talk to Deborah Stanton and say, we'd like to consider Mark coming out. I speak at Chicago usually once a year, out to Honolulu once a year. I'm going to get to Miami this year. Different groups will hire me as a gun to come in for a day and just teach kick-ass tax strategies. And I don't need to sell anything. I want to be there to edify your people. I mean, my speaking fee is going to be 5 or 10 grand for a full day and some travel. I'll just be blunt. But I see speakers out there at 20, 50 grand a day. And I'm like, for an hour? Are you kidding me? So no, I want to stay there and answer questions, do lunch groups or networking or whatever you want and make it a powerful day. You can charge people for the day. I don't care. I don't need a piece of that. I'll just take a speaking fee. Last question, then we'll wrap it up unless there's anything on Facebook you want. Abundance says, how can we get a copy of the calendar? MarkJKohler.com. You can buy a calendar right now. They're pre-selling. MarkJKohler.com. I've got all the tax deadlines for the year in here, all my workshops, the podcasts, build your 10-year plan, my favorite books I want you to read. It's good. This is my third. You know what's funny here on my desk? Back in 2019, I was modifying At a Glance, and I got sick of it. So I created in 2020 my first ever calendar, Mark J. Kohler calendar. It was pretty good. Then 2021, and then here's my 2022. And so this will be the 4th year of producing my own calendar. Dave Ramsey does a calendar, and I appreciate it, but it's a freaking book. Holy hell, I needed like a cart on wheels to carry the thing around. I like it. It's flimsy. It's flexible. It goes anywhere. And it's got all sorts of state and tax resources, tax tables, tax deadlines, tax numbers, and it's great for business owners as well as professionals. Everybody, thanks for letting me rant. The Donald Trump's tax returns should have never been released to the public. It's sad, and it's a scary precedent. But we saw him, and you know what we saw? A blueprint of what entrepreneurs do that are successful. I want to give him he's not perfect. Joe Biden's not perfect. And I wish more of us could stay in the middle of the road as entrepreneurs and look at what Joe Biden's done with his rental property and his S-Corp. And look what Donald Trump's done as a real estate professional. Let's not be haters. Let's be believers in the American dream. Believers in small business and taking tax write-offs, paying our fair share to the IRS, and that's it. Not bending over and just doing our little W-2 thing. Let's get out there and start a side hustle, start a side gig, make some more money, put it in our IRAs, our 401ks, and self-direct it. Rip it out of Wall Street and invest in what we know. People, the dream's there. You just got to grab it and take it. Don't get caught up in all this hate and rhetoric. Let's believe in the American dream. That's where I'm going to be every week, all this year, trying to live it with you.